What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Just Cause TV channel. This week, we have our Week 11 picks and Survivor picks. Already, Week 11, guys. We made it. We made it to Week 11. I don't know what that means. 2/3 of the way through the regular season. As always, on our NFL videos, I am joined by special guest Dr. West. What's going on, man?
How's it going, my half-brother Anthony?
All right. Half brother. Okay, I can get behind that. We're out of the aunt and grandma territory, which is pretty solid.
Well, we're going to have to go back to it. I'm running out of relatives.
We're cool with that. We're cool with that. And our new guest, the self-described now #1 football mind in all the world, my good buddy Jeff. What's going on, man?
First off, just for the record, I never described myself as the greatest football mind in America. That was a description
that was definitely your
so eloquently laid upon my feet. So I think once we get to the results, we'll see that sometimes, I have an off day.
That's true. Well, speaking of the results, yeah, we do have to get into those guys. Jeff, the #1 overall pick, you came in with some stigma as, this. You're going to start right off the bat, and maybe you should take a couple weeks off, learn the playbook a little bit before you came in here with your 7 correct picks, which finished in last week.
Yeah, he had 9 bye weeks.
Listen, here's my thing though. If that Hail Mary doesn't go down in Arizona, my spirit animal Josh Allen walks away with the W, and me and Wes are kind of flipped right now. So, it wasn't as bad as it looks,
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'll be on top after this week, at least for the week.
For the week, okay, that's fair. But yours truly, guys, has now rattled off 3 wins in a row. Yes, 2 of them were ties, but look at that. We've got some green in the Anthony column, finally.
Well, ties do not count as wins, dude.
It's
green. I mean, just for the record,
it's green.
This is an outright win. He got an outright win for the first time.
You did get an outright win, but let's not count the ties. This is,
Oh, I'm counting ties, all right. I'm counting ties. That's all I got.
All right.
That's all I got.
I'm only jealous of your ties anyway, so.
That's very true. Dr. West, how'd your competition go last week?
Nobody challenged me properly, so nobody beat me. So we got the Justin Herbert rookie. I'm adding a Christian McCaffrey Gridiron's King card because I need a challenger, and nobody's appropriately challenging me.
Yeah, guys, come on. Get in the comments. Let's go. All you got to do...
I'm trying to give you free money here.
Yeah, just all you got to do. Very simple. I did it last week. Beat Dr. West. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Yeah, look at this. He's gotten 8 most of the time. If you get 9, you're going to win some cards here. Some nice Justin Herbert card and now Christian McCaffrey Gridiron Kings card. That's awesome, man.
Justin Herbert and the Oregon Ducks. Come on.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So just a reminder, guys, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Hit the like on the video. Leave your full picks in the comments. We need the full picks. These are straight up picks. We cannot take or accept just a couple of picks. You got to leave them all if you want a chance to beat Dr. West. Unless, of course, Dr. West gets every single game wrong and you happen to get one right. Then you will win. But we're looking out for you guys. We want you guys to win this Justin Herbert card. And, rub it in Dr. West's face after you beat him then in the comments as well. I'll do that for you guys.
I would love it. I want to get beat. I want to send out these cards.
Let's do it, guys. Let's do it. Before we hop into the actual games this week, though, we got a little bit of a playoff picture we want to set the mood for here a little bit. We're at Week 11 now. The playoffs, they're on the horizon. So, as you see on the screen here, we've got the AFC and the NFC current playoff standings. So, guys, looking at that AFC side over there, which side has been the biggest surprise to you so far this season?
In a positive or a negative way?
You take this, man. What's the biggest surprise?
I mean, looking at Baltimore at number 7 right now, I mean, who would have thought that coming into the season? You had the reigning MVP talking about, possibly dethroning the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC, and now look at them just struggling. Yeah, the Dolphins are out of there.
Barely in the playoffs. There are 7 teams that make the playoffs right now. Barely. They're in, but not by much.
But yeah, I mean, who would have thought that from Baltimore? I mean, I think at the beginning of the season, most people would have picked either the Steelers or Baltimore in the North, probably based on Ben's health, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. So they're sticking out like a sore thumb to me as far as a negative aspect. But look at the Dolphins. They're way more competitive than I think we thought they would be at this point in the year. Starting Tua a lot of people were questioning the decision to move on from Ryan Fitzpatrick, but it seems to have worked so far.
Yeah, I mean, they're 5 wins in a row for the Dolphins. Now starting Tua, like you said, like it's crazy. I mean, that's big. That's my surprise. It's gotta be Miami here. Miami and the Raiders, kind of, they're up there with me. I was a Ravens hater coming into this year. I actually had the Steelers winning the division, so seeing them at the top's not terribly surprising. The fact that they're undefeated is a little surprising, but I'm not a Lamar guy. I figured, he has a year on film now. Teams are going to be able to figure him out. So the Ravens collapse, quote unquote. Yes, they're 6-3. It's not been the most surprising thing here in the world for me. Dr. West, is there anything about the AFC here that you want to talk about?
I just think it's interesting that 3 out of the top 8 are from the AFC North. So tough competition for the Bengals. They're the only ones not represented here.
Yeah.
But really, the surprise to me is the Raiders. I had them being a bad team, and that's why I think that John Gruden is the front runner for coach of the year. But
oh boy,
well, I mean,
that last week.
Yeah, I did. But look at the division he's in. I mean, he is in a tough division, and he's making do with Darren Carr as his quarterback. Derek Carr.
Yeah.
I mean, he's worse than Andy Dalton.
Oh, hot take.
I mean, I think that's fair. But look, the Bengals made the playoffs for how many years in a row with Andy Dalton as a quarterback? They've got some talent, offense. Josh Jacobs, Ruggs, Waller.
Do you think Josh Jacobs is better than Mixon?
Well, no, personally, I don't. But
Ruggs is not better than Higgins or AJ Green or Tyler Boyd.
I don't know. I would like to see Ruggs with the competent deep ball quarterback, and I think that's what Joe Burrow brings as opposed to Carr. So yeah, you're right. Like I don't think they have all the talent in the world, but again, to go back to your point, the Raiders are playing in the AFC West as opposed to the AFC North, so it's kind of hard to measure the talent levels on both teams.
I think the AFC North is probably the best division.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and the Bengals are. Yeah, I mean, Cleveland's still competitive. The Bengals, honestly, at this point, would probably struggle in the AFC East or the Big Ten. They just don't look that good right now.
They'd win the NFC East, though.
Yeah. Speaking of the NFC East, led me right to my point. Had the Bengals been over here, they might be the 4th seed right now. Look at the Eagles. Yeah. Play the game. Something here doesn't belong, and it's clearly the Eagles there at the number 4 seed. Anything surprising here, though, in the NFC to you guys?
I guess I'll go first. I'd say that I felt like this Seattle team came out of the gates so hot, and I was feeling really confident for picking them as being my NFC winner. But man, I did not account for their defense being that bad. Their defense is like on the level of the Cowboys defense in terms of being bad. So I'm a little surprised that they're all the way back in 7th place. They've lost 3 in a row now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I was kind of feeling the same thing. And I would think if you would go back to preseason, I don't think everyone expected Kyler Murray to take the steps that he's taken to become basically one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So seeing them at 3rd overall is pretty surprising. I definitely would have thought Seattle would be the class of that division.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
I saw it.
Oh, did you?
I did.
You predicted it.
I called it. I did.
And he's not even the greatest football mind.
Yeah.
I still think that the Seahawks, at the end of the day, have more weapons on offense than Chris Carson's been out. Like it's been a tough break for them on the rushing side of things. But you're right, that defense is historically awful. Arizona's defense is at least competent. So I guess maybe you were prophetic in your anointing of them in the preseason. I would never have called that. I would have definitely rolled Russ all year long. And not that he hasn't had a good season, but you kind of saw what happened when they ran into a defense where Jalen Ramsey was able to take away DK Metcalf and without any kind of running game.
And guys, you know what's absolutely perfect about this week? Would you look at our Thursday night game that we got going on here?
Love it.
Oh, speaking of this NFC West, the 6-3 Cardinals traveling to the 6-3 Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks, despite the multiple losses in a row, are 3-point home favorites. You would expect that out of Seattle. They're pretty sick at home. A week high 57.5 over under in this game, kicking off our week with some fireworks. But what an NFC West matchup we have. Arizona, they're coming off their thrilling quote unquote Hail Murray, if you guys have seen that so far.
No, don't bring that back up.
To DeAndre Hopkins to beat Jeff's Bills 32-30, while Seattle has surprisingly they've lost 2 in a row to the Rams and the Bills. Russ, he's still leading the NFL with 28 touchdown passes. He's cooking, guys. While my MVP frontrunner, Kyler Murray, he has 17 passing touchdowns to 8 interceptions, while also just casually running for 600-plus yards and 10 rushing touchdowns. He's 8th in the NFL in rush yards. He's a quarterback. He's actually on a better pace than Lamar was last year during his MVP season. He's projected to have more stats, better passing and rushing yards, and touchdowns than Lamar did last year. So, Jeff, we'll kick it off with you. Who wins this huge NFC West matchup on Thursday?
Wow, this is a tough one. I mean, honestly, this is probably the best Thursday night matchup we've had all year. This actually makes me want to tune in for Thursday night. It's hard to pick against Seattle at home. But you know what? They're just not showing me enough at this point. Their defense, like Wes said, is just atrocious, like historically bad. And when you've got a little bit of luck on your side, like the Cardinals clearly had with the Hail Murray, as you called it, it's tough to pick against them. At this point, I have to roll with Anthony's preseason favorite. I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, my dude. All right. Wes, you were high on Seattle coming into this year. Can you back them here at home?
I think that I've gotten Seattle right every week so far. I don't know that for sure, but I'm pretty sure. And I think that now they're going to turn it around. They've been getting their butts kicked the last few weeks. Russell has not looked the same, but now they're coming back home on a short week. The two teams who can prepare the best, I think the Seahawks will. I think they'll win at home. I think that it'll be a high scoring game, but 57.5 seems really high for a Thursday night game, which historically are kind of like slow struggles, especially for games within the division. So I would take the under on the 57.5, and I would take the Seahawks to win by, I suspect, a touchdown.
By a touchdown. Be still my heart. Oh my gosh. Well, guys, I found myself in a familiar place here as the resident breaker of ties in the group. I got a stat for you guys, though. Yeah, you saw it before. And one of the more unfair stats of the season, Seattle is barely in the playoffs as a 7 seed at 6-3, while the Eagles are a 4 seed. Just insane. But this loss they're about to experience on Thursday night is going to knock them out of the playoff picture at this point.
Oh, God.
Give me the league MVP, Kyler Murray. I've backed my Cardinals every single week so far this year. It's paying off handsomely. Got to get this win, though, against your division rival right now at the top. The Rams are still there, too. The Rams are also 6-3. What a division, though. Kind of insane. Taking the Cardinals and putting West out on the island first this week. He was not out on an island by himself at all last week, guys. Kind of strange. I don't think it's ever happened.
I love it. I know. I didn't feel right last week. I knew when I made my picks last week, it didn't feel right, and I wasn't feeling good about them. Now I'm feeling real nice being alone.
It's by himself on the Seahawks. A good island to be on.
With the favorite. I'm alone with the favorite. That's a good place to be.
Yeah, let's get it, Jeff. Let's go.
I got it. Again, I can't wait to watch this game. Like Wes said, usually Thursday night games are kind of a low-scoring slugfest, but this one's going to be fun. This is probably the highlight of the week.
Yep. Grab your favorite adult beverage on Thursday. Sit back and enjoy, guys. This one's going to be good. Speaking of a game that might not be so good, though, unfortunately, we've got the 2-6-1 Cincinnati Bengals traveling to the 2-7 Washington Buckeyes, as we like to call them here on the channel. Washington only a 1.5 home favorite here. Pretty low over under their 46.5. Our Bengals, guys. The Steelers made a mockery of them last week, 36-10. Now they get to travel to DC, who they're still only a game and a half out of the NFC East lead with 2 wins. This is embarrassing. Alex Smith, he looked fantastic versus the Lions last week. Despite the loss, he threw for 390 yards, Meanwhile, the Bengals' 2 wins have come against the AFC South only, against the Jags and the Titans. They get a similar defensive test, though, this week, as Washington allows the 7th fewest yards per game, and they allow the fewest passing yards per game with 195. Dr. West, can the Bengals pick up a win here on the road?
I'm really torn on this game. I would not bet it just because I just don't have a good feel for what's going to happen. If I were to take a bet, I would bet I don't know. I just wouldn't touch it.
Yeah.
This might be a fade game. Full fade.
Yeah, but if being a gun to my head, choose, I'm going to take the Washington Buckeyes. I'm hoping that, it's good for the Bengals now if they lose, because I have the 5.5. I need the under for the season, and I also want them to get a better draft pick. They have nothing to play for this year. Washington still has something to play for. They can still make the playoffs. And I'm not happy with Washington with them benching Dwayne Haskins, but Alex Smith has looked good, I have to admit. And I just think that the Washington defense will be enough to keep the Bengals. The Bengals offensive line versus the Washington defensive line does not seem fair.
Yeah.
It seems like I think Chase Young's going to be chasing around Burrow all day. And so I think it's going to be a very close game, probably a last second field goal or something like that to decide the game. But I'll take the Washingtons.
Ooh, Jeff, I know you're a Bengals fan. You going to defend him here?
Well, I just really wish that Dwayne Haskins was starting so we could see how awful of a quarterback he truly is. The man is complete garbage.
He's
look,
never had a chance.
He doesn't really deserve a chance when he shows up to meetings late and he's not studying the playbook. How many chances does the man deserve? How he beat out Burrow, I have no idea.
That's the point. There you go. Burrow left Ohio State because he couldn't beat Dwayne Haskins.
Oh boy.
That's true, but Burrow then went on to win the Heisman and a national championship and became the number 1 overall pick. So I think the decision worked out for him. Doesn't seem to be working out so well for Dwayne Haskins. Although he got that nice rookie contract, the question is, will he become a career backup? There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of interest in him. He was made available for trades. Maybe they didn't like the offers they were getting, but Dwayne Haskins, until proven otherwise, has been approaching the bust level. But at the same time, I'm with you, Wes. That defensive line going up against the Bengals offensive line, which is pretty much non-existent. The only games that they've had success is when teams have not been able to pressure Burrow. I don't think this is going to be one of those games. I think the Washington's going to get there. Plus, they have a good secondary. So as much as it pains me, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Washington football team.
How dare you, Jeff?
Look, as a Bengals fan, I've been through too much heartbreak, so you got to go with your head occasionally.
Yeah, I picked the Patriots to lose to the Ravens last week. We'll get to that game here in just a quick second. But you're on the Buckeyes, huh? Had the Bengals been in the NFC East like we talked about, they would have a very easy 5 or 6 wins at this point. I'm convinced. They're just, unfortunately for them, they're in this AFC North, which is the most competitive division in all of football. In my heart of hearts, I truly believe this. I think the Bengals are overall a better football team than this Washington team. The stats speak for themselves for me, though. I am 0-4 this season when I pick the Bengals by myself. I'm looking forward to making it 0-5, and I'm just going to ride with the Bengals here. Joe Burrow, I think he's got a little bit more. He's got stuff to prove now. He's been a perennial winner. He's mentioned it during his career. He has never lost this much in his career. I think he's sick of it. I think the Washington
He better
defense,
get used to it.
At this point, he's in Cincinnati. He better get used to it. Yeah. I think he's sick of it. If there's going to be a turnaround, it's got to be here on the road against, honestly, I think an inferior team. I truly believe that. I'm taking the Bengals by myself here. We got 2 island games right out of the bat, guys. Let's go.
I hope you're right, Anthony.
I do too, man. I appreciate that. Bengals, one Bengals fan to another. But now, I'm going to be out here on the island by myself in this game as a Patriots fan. We've got the 4-5 Patriots traveling to the 2-7 Houston Texans. The Patriots about a field goal road favorite here over at 47.5. And unfortunately, guys, I may be the worst Patriots fan in the history of the world. I felt the season was so far gone for them. Then they come out and surprised literally the ever-living crap out of everybody, and they basically shut down Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, winning 23-17 in a rain-soaked game in Foxborough. Meanwhile, Houston is back again in the loss column to Wes's delight as they get one game closer to cashing the under 7.5 wins for him on the season. This is a completely lost season for them, guys, as Wes dances. It's fantastic, yeah. Honestly, I feel like they should bring back Bill O'Brien just to fire him again for trading away DeAndre Hopkins at this point.
Yeah.
What an embarrassment. What a effing idiot. Jeff, though, New England, excuse me, they have won 2 games in a row now. Can they make it 3, or will Houston surprise at home?
You know, I feel like Houston, they're an enigma. They've looked better at times since Bill O'Brien has been gone. They played last week in Cleveland in those high winds, so that was kind of a dicey game. But I don't know. I mean, Bill Belichick's still the GOAT. Cam Newton seems a little bit over the hill. Can he come up with enough points to keep pace with the Texans offense? I think they've opened the playbook up more. You've seen Brandon Cooks come alive, Will Fuller, Deshaun Watson. I don't know. It's hard for me to pick against Belichick. So based on the fact that they were able to beat the Ravens, I think they're going in the right direction. Still don't have a whole lot of faith in Cam, but let's be honest, they're playing the Texans. This team is just hot garbage. I'm going New England.
Going New England. How's that make you feel, Jeff, picking the Patriots?
Not good. Dirty. I'm going to have to shower immediately after.
Immediate shower. Dr. West, you going to side with Jeff here. Take the Patriots.
I am. I mean, if you can't beat the Browns, how are you going to expect to beat the Patriots? I agree that the Patriots, they have not looked the same, but I think that the Texans are just packing it in. They are looking for high enough draft capital to replace Hopkins, who they should have never traded, who made a great catch last week and showed why he is one of the best wide receivers in the league. And David Johnson, what the hell has he done this year?
Heard again.
Yeah. They got a 2nd-round pick and David Johnson's horrendous contract.
Yeah, they're just going to – yeah, like I've said at the beginning of the year, you need a jazzy scooter to take David Johnson around in the backfield. So – yeah, just give me the Patriots.
Taking the Patriots. Oh, I'm not even going to sugarcoat this. You guys know where I'm going. The Texans' 2 wins so far this year have come against the 1-9 or 1-8 Jaguars. Pathetic. Damian Harris is going to run all over this Houston team as the Texans allow the most rushing yards per game with 167. And you know what New England does with Cam and with Damian Harris? They run the crap out of the ball. Pats are back, baby. Let's go. Woo! Come on, Paige. Let's go. Get this game off of here. Patriots are winning this game. You can say no all you want, Jeff. You know what's going to happen. Let's go.
Yeah, it's going to happen, but I don't have to be happy about it.
That's touche, sir. Well played. Let's get to our next game. We've got the 3-5-1 division-leading Philadelphia Eagles traveling to the 6-3 Cleveland Browns. Browns a field goal home favorite here, 47.5. We're going to see that every game this week. Despite the horrible Eagles record, guys, they are holding on to their NFC East lead. But now they travel to Cleveland, who they're hosting their 3rd home game in a row. Talk about being comfortable. Cleveland, though, other than the 37 points they had against the Bengals, they scored 7 against the Steelers, 6 against the Raiders, and 10 against the Texans. Albeit 2 of those games were in win bowls, but this offense has been non-existent over the past month or so. Both teams, honestly, have not played very well over the past month. But Dr. West, who picks up a much-needed win here?
I'm going to go against what I normally would do, and I'm going to take the Browns. I think they're better without Odell Beckham. I really do. I think Baker doesn't have the pressure to force the ball to him. And I think that the Eagles are just actually really bad. I picked them to win the division, and they still may pull it off, but they really don't deserve it. I mean, losing to the Giants are so bad. They are so bad. Even without Saquon, I mean, what are they?
Yeah. Giants now only a half game behind them now.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So give me the Browns. I think that they'll win by I bet they'll win by 10 points.
10? Jeff?
So I would take them minus 3.5.
Okay. Jeff, you can agree here 10 points for the Browns?
I don't know about 10, but yeah, I definitely think the Browns are the better team. Let's not overlook that, yes, they have scored low point totals since the Bengals game, but last week was the first game that they had Nick Chubb back. It was a key part to that offense with the 1-2 punch with Kareem Hunt. And let's not forget it was a windstorm up in Cleveland, 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, so it was kind of hard to throw the ball around, and that offense still put up enough points to win the game. Can we talk about Carson Wentz? What the hell happened to Carson Wentz? He signs that big deal. Everyone thinks he's going to be one of the new hot young quarterbacks. Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, has a higher quarterback rating right now than Carson Wentz. That's scary. If you're at Philadelphia, you can't feel good right now about the contract that you gave Carson Wentz. Now, he doesn't have a whole lot of talent to throw the ball to, but still, he's just looked bad. And it's hard for me to pick a team that has a suspect defense, suspect quarterback play. They got a good running back situation, but overall, the Browns just have more talent. So I'm going with Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't have to say anything else than that. I feel like I'm taking the Browns as well. In a shocking move, though, Carson Wentz, he did not have an interception last week against the Giants. I think he more than makes up for it in this game. Denzel Ward, honestly, may have 2 picks in this game and return one of them for a touchdown. Cleveland is a top 8 run defense, so you're not going to be able to run the ball on this team. Wentz is going to have to throw, which is going to give points to Cleveland. I'm taking the Browns. Browns by a touchdown. Something like probably 20-13, something like that. I feel like in this game, something weird. I don't see this game being high scoring. Over under 47.5 for you guys in this game.
I'm gonna go under.
Yeah, me too.
Under, yeah, I'm feeling under in this game, especially if Wentz is gonna be turning the ball over that much and Cleveland's just gonna run the crap out of the ball. Yeah,
just have no confidence in that Philly offense.
Agreed. Totally agree. Speaking of maybe losing some confidence in an offense here, the Saints are going to be without Drew Brees for this game. They are hosting the 3-6 Atlanta Falcons. Saints 4.5-point home favorites. You got to think this would be a lot higher if Brees were there. The confidence may be a little shaken here with New Orleans, but don't look now, guys. Atlanta, they've won 2 in a row. Probably they're not even sure how. It seems by accident. They're now getting Calvin Ridley back, it seems like, and they're getting the Saints at the right time. Drew Brees out a projected 2 to 3 weeks with broken ribs and a collapsed lung. So hopefully they didn't call. Bad. Yeah, it's bad. Not good situation here, quarterback for the Saints. I'm just hoping they didn't call upon the Chargers doctor for any lung issues. Poor Tyrod Taylor. It does appear that turnover-prone Jameis Winston will be taking over, so some good news here for the Atlanta secondary. The Saints, they have won 6 in a row, but Jeff, can they make it 7 with Jameis?
I think so. Well, I mean, right now Sean Payton is still playing coy about who the starting quarterback is going to be. They may allegedly start Taysom Hill. I can't imagine them actually doing that. But I would still feel more confident with Jameis than I would Taysom Hill. So I think at the end of the day, Sean Payton, he may have some wrinkles. Now, when they get in the red zone, they may bring Taysom out there to actually throw the defense off. But I think Jameis is going to be your primary quarterback for the majority of the game. He's a gunslinger, which is the total opposite of Drew Brees. At this point, obviously, Brees doesn't have the most strongest arm. You've still got Michael Thomas. You've got Alvin Kamara. You've got Traquan Smith. So I think they have receiving talent. Now, the question is Jameis going to take some stupid risks? Because let's be honest, the Atlanta Falcons secondary, not very good. I still think Jameis gives them enough to overcome Atlanta, even though I do love Atlanta's kicker, Young Ho.
Yeah, I do. He has the best name ever, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's Young Way, I know, but I just can't resist pronouncing it.
I mean, you spell it how it looks, right? The reason why I'm thinking it's going to be Jameis is because of what happened last year. Teddy Bridgewater came in for a couple games while Drew Brees was hurt. They're not going to roll Taysom Hill out there. I don't think there's not necessarily the level of trust, but they're looking for a more standardized system, I feel like they did with Teddy. So I feel like Jameis is now that same exact role here. Teddy went at 5-0 as a starter for the Saints last year, so why not throw Jameis out there, see what he can do? Dr. West, are you taking the Saints here?
Yeah, I would hammer this -4.5 for the Saints because Sean Payton is still the X factor, and he's going to be able to scheme. He's going to make it so that Jameis can't make stupid decisions, and that's basically just going to be a bunch of screens. And dump offs and get the ball to Alvin Kamara is basically what this is going to come down to. I would bet he's going to make it so that Jameis can't do dumb things. So the books have made this line based off, Drew Brees isn't there, but I think that Sean Payton's going to be able to scheme it enough to easily win this game by a touchdown.
Yeah, you greatly underestimate the ignorance that is Jameis Winston's belief that he can make every pass.
They would be better off with Dwayne Haskins, but you know what?
Oh, no, I mean, nobody ever said that. Let's not go that.
That is hot takey.
I think they would be, but whatever.
You got Michael Thomas there. Just throw him some slant passes, and hopefully, Jameis Winston can get the ball 7 yards down the field on a slant pass.
Just tell him we'll get some free crab legs if he doesn't throw any.
Touche. Yes, let's go.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Maybe he won't punch somebody. You never know.
Somebody at Jameis Winston.
For me, though, despite not having Breeze, the Saints just have too many weapons on offense, and they have the pieces to slow down the Falcons on defense. You're probably going to have Lattimore on Julio Jones, so Julio is going to be non-existent in this game. I mean...
Wait a second, though. Can we talk about this, though?
Sure.
Lattimore has not been the shutdown corner that he's been in years past, so let's not go too far in saying that Julio Jones is going to be non-existent. Marshawn Lattimore has not had the greatest year to date.
He's gonna do enough, especially with Ridley being back. This is a Ridley game for me.
Okay, I could see it, but let's not give Marshawn Lattimore lockdown corner status when he quite frankly hasn't earned it this year.
That's totally fair. I think he held Mike Evans to 4 catches and 40 yards 2 weeks ago or something like that.
But look at Mike Evans' stat line. How many yards has that man put up this year? He's been a touchdown machine, but he hasn't been putting up 100-yard games. I don't think he's broke the century mark the entire year. So
all right, let's set an over/under on yards for Julio this week. I'm 55. I'll take the under on 55.
I'll take the over.
Taking the over.
I will also take the under.
Okay. 55 is the no monetary bet here, just for pride purposes. Under 55 yards for Julio. But I think, this week in the offseason, Jameis Winston finally got LASIK, so he may be able to actually see his receivers down the field now and throw an accurate ball. For me, it comes back to his LASIK surgeon doing a good job. Saints are going to win here.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement there.
All right, New Orleans takes our sweep. And what is going on with this Detroit Lions team? I feel like every game they just don't have lines anymore. They're breaking the system. The 4-5 Lions are traveling to the 3-7 Carolina Panthers. We got 1.5 point home favorite for Carolina. No other odds or over-unders or anything like that. But why does it feel like every week we have Detroit, the game just looks like a snooze fest on paper? Mm-hmm. To be fair, though, their game versus the Buckeyes last week was anything but a snooze fest. Detroit kicked a 59-yard field goal from Matt Prater to win as time expired, 30-27, which is only their second time scoring 30 or more points this year, so not great offensive output here, thanks to Matt Patricia. Carolina, though, they're stuck in reverse. They're going backwards. They have 5 straight losses. They felt the wrath of Tom Brady last week, losing 46-23. Dr. West, can either of these teams put up any points this week?
Yeah, I don't know. Just like you said, every time the Lions are slated to play a game, it seems like a snooze fest. I think I've probably picked against them every single week, just like some commenter pointed out in the past that we're always sleeping on Detroit, and then they got smoked the week that he made that comment. But regardless, I'm taking the Panthers. I think that Teddy Bridgewater and hopefully Christian McCaffrey can run all over this defense. And I don't know. I just don't understand the Lions. How are they winning games? I just don't see where their talent is. It's certainly not in the coaching staff. And I don't know. I get them wrong a lot, but to me, this game just screams Panthers.
Can you guys remember a Detroit win other than the one I just mentioned?
No.
That's a very good point. Yeah, they've got 4 of them, and last week's the only one that really sticks out in my mind.
Where do they come from? They beat the Falcons after Gurley scored an accidental touchdown, but they should have lost. I don't know. The Lions, how do they have 4 wins? I'm so confused. Jeff, are you taking the Panthers here with Dr. West?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of question marks coming into this game. One, is Teddy Bridgewater healthy enough to make the start? He's dealing with a sprained MCL, so I don't feel confident. I know Will Greer, and forgive me, I can't even remember the name of the guy that came in and supplanted Teddy Bridgewater. But if he's not playing, and they're going to be without Christian McCaffrey, that's really scary. Now, Mike Davis has been solid. They've got talent at wide receiver with DJ Moore, and
Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel. I just don't know. Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, if you don't have a quarterback, how are you going to get those guys the ball? And then the question mark for Detroit. Matthew Stafford's dealing with a torn ligament in his thumb, is last I heard. So they're saying he's going to tough it out, but that doesn't sound ideal. I think the biggest ingredient that Detroit has figured out recently is give the ball to DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift has been a revelation for them. They were forcing the ball to Adrian Peterson, who's way over the hill. So at this point, I just don't have any confidence in Carolina, especially they're talking about day-to-day with the sprained MCL for Teddy Bridgewater. That doesn't sound good. I know the ligaments issue is bad for Matthew Stafford, but I just think that Detroit's on a roll, and Carolina, how many games have they lost in a row now? Is this 4?
They've lost 5 in a row.
Five in a row. So I'm going to stick with the streak and go with the Lions.
Go with the Lions. I had looked for some sort of analysis to look into this game. There's just nothing there between either of these two teams. You feel like they have pieces everywhere. Honestly, I feel like at this point, Matt Rule is a better coach than Matt Patricia. That's literally kind of the only thing that I'm coming back to here. In last week's video, I swore off the Panthers, but I don't think I've picked the Lions at all, maybe once or twice this year, because I just don't know what this team is going to do week in and week out. I don't know. Carolina just they faced Tom Brady last week, who was taking out his frustration. Neither team does it for me. Give me Matt Rule over Matt Patricia, and that's what it comes back to for me.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with the quarterback or the coaching situation is a no doubt. He'll get them where they need to be, but Phillip Walker is the potential starting Phillip Walker.
XFL Phillip Walker.
Yeah, can anyone tell me where Phillip Walker went to college?
That dude was good in the XFL, though, I will say.
Yeah, he was. XFL.
I was hoping that he was on the Houston Roughnecks, right?
He was, yeah.
I was hoping that the Bengals were going to take him, actually, as a backup sleeper guy. Where did he go to college? He went to somewhere random. It was somewhere in what's the answer?
He played at Temple, which makes sense. Matt Rule used to coach at Temple, so now he's bringing the band back together. He's already got Robbie Anderson, so now he's got Phillip
Houston Roughnecks.
Walker.
I'm telling you, the Houston Roughnecks, the stars of the XFL. He was good.
Yeah. So we've got Wes and I are taking the Carolina Owls, it looks like. While Jeff's rolling with the Lions here. All right. I mean, this game, don't know, guys. Have fun betting it if the Lions pop up. You enjoy. This is a weird one. Can't make any analysis on this one, unfortunately. That will take us to a game where we're probably not going to have much analysis either. Let's be real. 9-0 Pittsburgh traveling to this 1-8 Jaguars team. Pittsburgh a 10-point road favorite. Over-under stayed at 47.5. Pittsburgh, they stayed undefeated last week against our Bengals, Jeff. Cruising to an easy 36-10 win behind Big Ben's 4 passing touchdowns. Now they get this Jags team that has lost 8 in a row. But they have played the Texans and Packers close the past 2 weeks, losing by 2 to the Texans and 4 to the Packers. There's some life. Not much, but it is there. Jacksonville sports a league-wide third worst -72 in point differential, while the Steelers are second best in the NFL with a +100 point differential. So, Jeff, this one's pretty easy, right?
Yeah, I mean, clearly, and again, this is painful to say, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the class of the AFC, probably the class of the NFL right now if you're looking at it. They're the only undefeated team. TJ Watt's just having an MVP caliber season. I know nobody other than a quarterback will ever win it, but if you look at, he's the sack leader, takeaways, fumbles, tackles for loss. The man is a human wrecking ball back there and back in any team's backfield. Jacksonville, they just don't have the talent. Other than James Robinson, Luton came back to earth. He played, I guess, halfway decent against Green Bay, but they're just completely overmatched here. Pittsburgh wins this big. I would bet the spread here 10. I think that's generous.
Yeah, I think it should be more towards 14 in my opinion.
Yeah.
Honestly, Dr. West, Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, I mean, we said the same thing about the Packers last week when they played the Jags, and it ended up being close. I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up being closer, but I agree that you have to take the Steelers.
It's the Steelers' defense though is aces better than the Packers' defense so far this year. I feel like, and that's where that spread's going to come from. If it's 27-10, there's your 10-14 point spread somewhere in there.
Let's think about this. The Bengals beat the Jaguars, right? Not that you can extrapolate that to mean that the Pittsburgh's definitely going to beat Jacksonville, but the Bengals beat the Jaguars not handily, but they took them out pretty easily. And Pittsburgh just beat the Bengals 36-10. So I don't have any confidence that Jacksonville is going to be able to do anything close to getting within 10 points of Pittsburgh.
Agreed. And I look forward to the Jags being the team that hands Steelers their first loss.
I would love it. I would absolutely love to be wrong about this one, but yeah.
Absolutely. It's not going to happen though, guys. Pittsburgh rolls here. We get to a battle of the 6-3 on the edge of playoff teams. 6-3 Titans traveling to the 6-3 Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens here, touchdown home favorite for two teams that are 6-3. Over-under set at 49. But talk about two teams that are 6-3 coming into this game with absolutely no momentum whatsoever. The Titans were crushed 34-17 on Thursday night by the Colts, while the Ravens, I'm going to say they were embarrassed by the Patriots on Sunday night, where they lost on the road. Dr. West, so this is a big game for the NFC as a whole, as one of these teams will have to move to 6-4 in a tightly contested conference. Who rights the ship here, though?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. I think that the 6.5 points is way too much, and I would take the Titans with the points because, I mean, I think that they're probably pretty equivalent teams. I think that overall the Baltimore Ravens are a better, more well-rounded team, so I'm going to take them straight up. But there's so many unknowns in this game, given that both of these teams are coming in just looking like doo-doo. So if you're going to give me almost a touchdown, you got to take those points. So that being said, I think that the Ravens are going to right the ship, and I think they're going to win this game by 3 or 4 points.
Okay, Jeff, taking the Ravens as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big thing that the Ravens were missing against New England was Calais Campbell, one of the best defensive linemen in the league. They're not sure if he's going to be back this week or not, but it definitely hurt them last week against New England. I'm with Wes. This line seems a little high because I still think there's a lot of question marks when it comes to Baltimore's offense. It seems like everyone's kind of got the game plan to beat the Ravens. I mean, you can't take away Lamar's running ability, but force them into third and longs where he has to throw, especially if he has to throw deep. His accuracy on deep balls has been his Achilles heel this year. So I don't think that they have enough to cover the spread, but I will pick them to win straight up.
Love it. Perfect. I couldn't have said it any better myself. So I'm going to go ahead and throw my pick up here really quick with a caveat. I got a caveat for y'all. If there was one thing that we saw from that Baltimore-New England game is that this Baltimore team, they can be run on if you have a run game. Baltimore, they gave up 152 rushing yards just to New England's running backs between Harris and Burkhead. Doesn't even count Cam Newton's rushing yards. And that was the formula when these two teams met in the NFC divisional round in the playoffs last year.
Very true.
Tennessee won that game 28-12 because they ran the shit out of the ball. Derrick Henry had like 30 carries, 180 rushing yards. When you're running the ball like that on the Ravens, you know where Lamar Jackson is? He's on the bench. So,
yeah.
The problem is Tennessee hasn't been doing anything well so far. They're only averaging 21 points over their past 4 games. The Ravens are at home looking for revenge from the Patriots game, looking for revenge from the divisional round last year. They came into that as the Super Bowl favorite. They were 14-2 last year, and the Titans just embarrassed them. I think that's going to play a factor here. Look for Lamar to have 300 passing yards and 100 rushing yards. Get both of those bonuses.
300 passing yards?
Yes, you can throw on this Tennessee team. This Tennessee pass defense is horrific. Yeah, 300 pass yards and the 100-yard bonus. He's going to get both bonuses on DraftKings. Play Lamar at your quarterback position this week. This is a fun game, though. I think this is going to be good. Between 2, 6, and 3 teams, this game is going to be really fun.
300 passing yards.
Has he done that all year?
Yeah, I just don't see it. I think you had really good analysis there, but the 300 passing yards, no, it's just not going to happen. The negative game script is what teams have figured out. Put Lamar Jackson in 3rd and long, and he has not been able to make those throws. Look at Marquise Brown. Hollywood Brown's been frustrated because he can't catch a deep ball. They just don't have that quick strike down the field offense to allow them to get to 300 yards. But other than that, I agree with your analysis. They can definitely be run on. That's why Tennessee will keep it close, but ultimately, like I said, I think Baltimore wins the game straight up.
Yep, taking a Baltimore sweep here. That will take us to our 4 p.m. games. We're back to our normal schedule. Not the Masters is over. Only 4 of these. 6 and 3. Miami Tuas traveling to the 3 and 6 Denver Broncos here. Dolphins, a surprising 3.5-point road favorite. Over under pretty low at 45. 2 good defenses here. But guys, Tua Tagovailoa is 3-0 as an NFL starter. The Dolphins are on a 5-game win streak, and they take that to the struggling Broncos, who have lost 2 in a row. Miami, they are picking it up on defense. They have only allowed 17 points a game during their 5-game win streak, while Denver, on the other hand, they are only scoring 20 points a game in their last 5. Stat of the week for you guys. You ready? Drew Lock. He has now played 24 full quarters this season. In the 2 fourth quarters versus the Chargers and Falcons, he had 5 passing touchdowns. In the other 22 quarters Drew Lock has played so far this year, he has 2 passing touchdowns. Not good. Jeff.
Yeah.
Can Miami keep it rolling?
I mean, I think you got to go with a hot team here. They went out to Los Angeles last week, took care of business there. Tua's looked good, not great. I mean, that's what we expect as a rookie. They let go of Jordan Howard. That's something I think that shows that they have confidence in their backfield with Matt Breida being out. For those fantasy people out there looking for a potential waiver wire pickup, Salvon Ahmed, a guy that could potentially hold some value for as long as Breida's out and Gaskin's out. Even potentially hold on to that job once Gaskin comes back. He had 3 rushes last week for over 10 yards, which gives them another dynamic to go along with Tua, and Devontae Parker's looked a little bit slow, but having that run game, and again, I think Brian Flores, my coach of the year, just done a tremendous job, especially when you look at this defense. I just think that they have way more talent at this point. Better coaching, again, not a Vic Fangio fan. Drew Lock. I mean, that running game, Melvin Gordon, still not looking good. Phillip Lindsay, not looking good. Yeah, Jerry Jeudy, but no fan. If Drew Lock's throwing the ball, I'm going with the Dolphins all day long.
Yeah, Dr. West, I'll take over here really quick. I will say that, unfortunately, for Steve and his Broncos, I just don't think Drew Lock is the answer at quarterback. Maybe it's the wrong coaching scheme that Vic Fangio's got him going. He's a defensive guy. He doesn't understand the offensive side maybe as well as he needs to. He threw 4 interceptions against the Raiders last week. He's just not passing the eye test for me. Everything I've seen so far this year, yes, Cortland Sutton's hurt, but you still got Noah Fant and Jerry Jeudy, and it's just not there. Maybe a coaching change will help out Drew Lock. I don't know, but for me, Miami, they make it 6 in a row, and this is one of the most impressive win streaks of the year, I feel like, at this point for the Dolphins.
Yeah, one more quick fantasy advice. If anyone out here watching has not already picked up the Miami Dolphins defense, run to your waiver wire and get them. Not only do they have the Broncos this week, but then they have the Jets the following week and the Bengals the week after that. So there's a team you could ride for the next 3 weeks. So
yep,
a little bit of a fantasy heads up there.
Perfect.
Not afraid to share it with you guys. So
great cornerbacks, great defensive efforts so far. Dr. West, you're going to complete the sweep here.
I think I will, just because I like the Miami defense so much. I think Xavier Howard will shut down Jerry Jeudy, and then what are you left with the Broncos? So I think this will actually be a pretty close game, but I will lean the Dolphins.
And the Dolphins, a Dolphins sweep here, not surprising, unfortunately. Broncos offense just stuck in the mud. This Melvin Gordon, Phillip Lindsay thing has got to sort itself out eventually. It's not going to be this week, though. That will take us. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
No, I was going to say, yeah, it's got to sort itself out, but neither one of them are going to be worth a damn for the rest of the year.
No, nope. I totally agree with that. That will take us to God.
Oh God.
Hang on. Let me collect myself here for just a second. Hang on. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, guys. The 0-9 New York Jets traveling to the 2-7 Los Angeles Justin Herberts. They are 8.5-point home favorites here. Guys, the matchup we've been waiting for is here! Woo! It's the battle of the two worst coaches currently in the NFL.
Yep.
For me, if this were a WWE match, this should be an I Quit match where the loser would be forced out of the NFL. This is embarrassing, but we can only hope at this point, right, guys? The Jets, they're obviously winless. Adam Gase's coaching record as a Jet is 7-18. The Chargers are 1-6 with Herbert as the starter, although no fault of Herbert. Dr. West, who wins this crap bowl?
I think you gotta believe that Herbert is just going to run train on the Jets and just pad his stats and just it's going to be they are so poorly coached, but you got to imagine that Adam Gase, who's like kicking from the other team's 40-yard line with, an 0-7 record and 1 yard to go, he's just wilting away. And yeah, just give me the Chargers. They're going to just pound the shit out of the Jets, I think.
Jeff, are you taking the Jets here?
Oh, absolutely. I love Adam Gase. I think he's an underrated coach. Joe Flacco is an amazing MVP candidate. Of course not. What the fuck, man? I'm not taking the Jets all year. We can skip any kind of analysis when the Jets come up. They're awful. I don't care if they were playing Temple or whatever college football team you wanted to pick up. They're awful. There's just no way that they win this game. I mean, I think they're obviously trying to tank for Trevor, and good luck to them. Maybe Trevor will decide he wants to play there, but they're garbage.
Yeah. Fly away, Jets. You're horrible. Get off my screen. I don't want to look at you anymore. The Chargers, they are averaging 29 points a game in their last 6. So, honestly, they should easily be able to shred through this horrible Jets defense. Herbert's got some extra motivation because he wants that Rookie of the Year, which he's in a hotly contested battle with Joe Burrow for, despite the lack of wins. The Jets are only averaging 11 points a game in their last 5. Herbert gets his second win here. I got to put the Jets back here just to make it official, to show that the Chargers, or the fighting Justin Herberts, crush this stupid Jets team. Adam Gase gets to 0-10 and, still keeps his job. Isn't it funny how that works?
Yeah. He must have compromising pictures of the owner.
He's got to. That's the only reason he's still here at this point. Let's get away from this, just dumb game. Now we get a much better game. We got the 7-2 Green Bay Packers traveling to the 6-3 Indianapolis Colts. Colts, field goal home favorite, over set at 51. Last week, Green Bay appeared to struggle a little bit at times against a non-existent Jaguars defense, but I personally feel like they get a sneaky matchup here against the AFC leading Colts, who are only allowing 17 points a game over their last 7. They sport a plus 65 point differential on the season, which is actually 6th best in the NFL. Jeff, does this game feel a little sneaky to you?
It does, but I think the reason that Green Bay struggled so much last week against the undermanned Jacksonville Jaguars, Jari Alexander was out. He's their best cover guy. I'm not sure if he's going to return this week. If he does, that gives them a boost. But ultimately, I think their defense has not been strong enough to overcome legitimate offenses. Now, the question is, are the Indianapolis Colts legitimate offense? Certainly, Phillip Rivers, you would have to say, is a better quarterback than Jake Luton, the quarterback they faced last week. But their run game's been kind of stuck in neutral. They can't seem to find a running back. Now, Nyheim Hines had a good game last week. Maybe they keep that going. But I just, this is a team, Indianapolis, that I just don't have a feel for. And ultimately, at the end of the day, a team I don't have a feel for has the opposing team has an MVP caliber quarterback with Aaron Rodgers, obviously, and Davante Adams, assuming his ankle is okay, and he came back into the game last week. I just think that I'm going to give them the nod because they have the better players on offense. So give me the Green Bay Packers.
Packers on the road, Dr. West. What's time with the Packers?
Granted, it took a last-second Hail Mary to work out, but last week I took the Cardinals against the Bills because the line was just weird to me. And this is striking me as another scenario where the line is weird. I don't know why the Packers would be an underdog, especially because the Packers are a very popular public team. I mean, a lot of people just like to bet the Packers and root for the Packers. So I feel like Vegas is baiting you into betting the Packers. I've got the Colts wrong all year, but I'm going to take the Colts in this game just because this game seems kind of fishy to me, and I could see the Colts defense making this interesting.
I am getting that same vibe. I sat here and looked at this game, trying to piece together some stats to try to figure out, is there an edge in this game? And I think you nailed it. I think Vegas wants you to take the Packers, knowing how popular of a team they are countrywide. But so looking at some Colts stats, it goes without saying when I read these because it makes a whole lot of sense. But in wins, right, the Colts are averaging 32 points a game, pretty good. In losses, they only average 17. It makes sense, but that's a humongous gap when it comes to how much you score when you win, how much you score when you lose. I can't figure the Colts out. I can't figure Phillip Rivers out. For me, though, it comes down to, are they going to be able to outscore Aaron Rodgers? I can't see that here. Taking the Packers, it's almost begrudgingly, but for me, when I look at the Packers side of the ball, other than the Bucs game on the road where they only scored 10 points, the Packers are averaging 37 points a game on the road. 37. That's through 4 games. Pretty good. I'm taking the Packers just on the road here without a major feel for this game whatsoever. But Wes, I think you might be onto something there.
It's worked out for me so far, so we'll keep going with it.
Yeah. Jeff, anything to add for this game?
Well, I mean, I think last week, again, I know I've kind of mentioned the weather in a couple games, but I think that affected the overall performance that we saw last week between Green Bay and Jacksonville. Now they'll be playing in a dome. So give me Aaron Rodgers in a dome with Devontae Adams. Aaron Jones gets a get-right game here. I think the Indianapolis defense is overrated. I think the Packers take this.
Leaving Wes out on the island by himself. That will take us to America's Game of the Week. We've got the 2-7 Dallas Cowboys traveling to the 4-5 hot, striking flame Minnesota Vikings. Vikings 8.5-point home favorites here against the completely undermanned Cowboys. 47.5 is the over/under. We do have one team picking up some hot fire at the right time, and then we've got the Dallas Cowboys. The Vikings have now won 3 humongous divisional games in a row to sit only 2 games out of a playoff spot in the NFC, while the Cowboys have now lost 4 in a row, and they sink to the bottom of the worst division in NFL history. Tony Pollard is starting to take work from Zeke, as Zeke's been injured a little bit. Amari Cooper's only seeing 4 to 6 targets a game, so your big money superstars not cashing in. Just an absolute offensive nightmare in Dallas. Dr. West, will Minnesota stay hot at home?
Let me give you the Dr. West lock of the week, and it's the over on this 47.5. These are 2 atrocious defenses with 2 above-average offenses, honestly. I think this is going to be a shootout, and I think that the Vikings will win the game just because the Cowboys are absolute dog trash. But, yeah, over. Pound the over. Bet the farm on the over.
Are you taking the Vikings, Dr. West? I missed it. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Who's quarterback for Dallas right now? Is Andy Dalton coming back?
I don't think so.
It's the Italian wonder kid, Nico.
It's Danucci, the guy from the Jersey Shore. Is he the quarterback?
Garrett Gilbert or whatever.
Okay, so Andy Dalton is the class of that. Now we have CeeDee Lamb, we have Michael Gallup, who was supposed to be under the radar fantasy stud this year, and then we have Amari Cooper. There are definitely a lot of weapons there, but man, the quarterback's still a question mark. And last time I checked, Kirk Cousins was still the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. So I just don't see the offensive firepower here enough. Yeah, there are bad defenses, but other than Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott, I just don't see enough to get over that hump at 47.5. And again, Minnesota's on the hot streak, so I'm going against West. Well, I guess West did pick the Vikings. I will pick the Vikings, but I'm saying the under here.
All right. I will break the tie on the over-under then, I suppose. Yeah, I'm taking the Vikings here. This Dallas team, they've given up. I think the Vikings are starting to show some heart here in the middle of the season. Mike Zimmer getting this team fired up. They could have packed it in at 1-5. A win here gets them to 500 and well within the thick of the NFC playoff race. As for the over-under, give me the over. I think this game has like 31, 22, 23, 24 written all over it, something like that. Vikings have allowed the most passing touchdowns in the league. It doesn't matter who Dallas throws out there. If you got the weapons to score the points, I think that might be enough. Both defenses not playing particularly well. I'm going to take the over. Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah, I guess my rebuttal to that is that same Vikings defense, what did the Bears do against it? How many points the Bears put up last night?
Oh,
the Bears.
If we want to talk about Nick Foles,
but the Bears have Nick Foles and the Daltons, or I'm sorry, the Dallas Cowboys at best case have Andy Dalton. So I see a similar scenario. I see an overrated offensive line, a running back that, like you said, is losing carries to Tony Pollard. Yes, you've got receivers, but ultimately, if you have Allen Robinson is a great receiver. One of the best receivers, honestly, I think, in the game. But he's got Nick Foles throwing in the ball. So in this scenario, you have Dallas's talented trio of wide receivers with potentially, hopefully, best case scenario, Andy Dalton throwing in the ball. I think
Andy Dalton is a humongous step up from Nick Foles. Nick Foles sucks.
A humongous step up?
Oh, yeah.
Comparatively.
Nick Foles against...
Andy Dalton's never won a playoff game.
No, Nick Foles against the league's worst secondary threw for 113 yards last night.
I was unaware that Andy Dalton was tearing it up for the Dallas Cowboys.
Honestly, that doesn't even matter at this point. If Nick Foles is trash. He's so bad.
I agree.
He's so bad. But
totally agree.
Give me Andy Dalton throwing 45 passes against this Viking secondary. There's going to be some points there.
I'm just saying, Andy Dalton isn't as good as you all are making him out to be. You guys are looking through those rose-colored glasses, remembering Andy Dalton in 2015 when he had the Bengals marching for a number 1 seed in the playoffs before he broke his thumb. That Andy Dalton has left the building. The Andy Dalton we currently have is not good.
Oh, he's no prime horse I want in the Kentucky Derby or anything like that, but he's one I'll still take out on the farm and ride every now and then. You know what I mean? Oh, please.
They need Dwayne Haskins. Is really
Cowboys get on it. Jerry Jones, get Dwayne Haskins in here. We've got the Minnesota sweep, and now we're getting on to Sunday night. We can talk about who should play quarterback for the Cowboys all night, I feel like. We've got the 8-1 Kansas City Chiefs traveling to the 6-3 Las Vegas Raiders. Apparently my mouth is not working anymore. We get a huge AFC West matchup on Sunday night as the Chiefs have won 4 in a row after their loss to these Raiders. And the Raiders themselves have now won 3 in a row, scoring 31 against the Chargers and 37 against the Broncos last night in the process. Someone's win streak does have to end here, though. So, Jeff, who picks up the win on Sunday night?
Are you kidding me? I'm not betting against Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, my boy Travis Kelce representing the Bearcats. I think Andy Reid just actually got a contract extension along with their general manager. They just have a lot going for them. I think their defense is underrated. Yeah, John Gruden's done a pretty decent job with the Raiders, but they're not ready. They're not primetime players. They're not ready to take down. If you're going to come for the king, you can't miss. And I think they missed this week.
How did that work last time for the Chiefs? They've already lost one time to the Raiders.
That's fine. They lost one time. It's not going to happen a second time.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I think you bring up a good point, but at the end of the day, like, there's no way they're better than them twice in a row.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that the Raiders kind of pulled a sneaky on them last time. The Chiefs were not expecting them to be as good as they were, and they're not going to make that same mistake again.
Yeah, guys, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes off a bye. This is going to be a scary thing for the Raiders. They're looking for revenge from their one loss they have so far. You just know they spent that whole entire bye week analyzing every single play from that first game between these two teams. They've looked at everything the Raiders have done so far this year. They're studying every minute detail of this Raiders offense. Again, I haven't been a Chiefs hater. I just noticed that some of these games they're barely scraping by, but off of a bye, I can't see the Chiefs losing even if they're in Vegas here. I mean, especially in a dome. Oh, give me the Chiefs in a dome for sure. They're in Vegas. Let's go. Chiefs take the sweep. Any thoughts? So can the Raiders pick up this win though?
I think they can. I mean, like Wes mentioned, they've already beat them once. I think Kansas City, if you're looking at their offense, their Achilles heel remains the same thing. They do not have a consistent running game. After they spent a first-round pick on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, expecting him to take them to the next level, he really hasn't produced. If you look at the past few weeks, he caught a touchdown the last time they played, but he has had minimal carries for minimal gains. They signed our favorite running back that Adam Gase shuttled away, and that didn't even work. He's barely getting on the field too. So Le'Veon Bell, Helaire, it doesn't seem to matter. They don't really have much of a Darrell Williams. That is their Achilles heel. So if the Raiders can somehow keep that passing game in check and keep this game close, they, I think, have a much better running game, and maybe that can be the difference.
All right. Would you take the Chiefs minus 6.5 or the Raiders with the points?
Like you said, the bye week, it would be hard to pick against the Chiefs here.
Okay. By a touchdown, Dr. West, would you take the Chiefs minus 6.5?
Yes, I would.
Okay. I'm on the same page. Totally agree here. Yeah, I think the Chiefs find a way. They studied the Raiders. They know what's coming this week. That will take us to our last game of the week. We've got Monday Night Football coming at you guys. The 6-3 Rams traveling to the 7-3 Bucks. Bucks about a field goal home favorite. Again, all the games this week between 46, 47, 48 points for the over-unders. Very, very close games. Wes, your travel theory may come into play here as the Rams they've got a home game versus the Bears 3 weeks ago. They then traveled to Miami 2 weeks ago. Back home to face the Seattle Seahawks this past week, and now they go back to Florida to face the Bucks. So much travel. The Bucks are coming off a 46-23 revenge thumping of the Panthers for the loss for the Saints, but this matchup does present a much more stern defensive test for that Bucks offense, as the Rams are only allowing 17 points per game in their last 5. Dr. West, though, you have not believed in Tampa Bay all year, it seems. You going to take them at home on Monday night?
That's true. I'm glad you bring up the Rams travel. Whoever made the Rams schedule just does not like the Rams, and that's the gist of it. They don't ever get back-to-back games on either coast. It's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think that the Buccaneers will win this game in a very close one. I would be tempted to take the Rams plus 3.5 because I think this will probably be a field goal game, but give me the Buccaneers.
Yeah, take the 3.5 before it changes. I like that. I'll just throw it in there. Jeff, you going to take the Bucks as well?
I am. I think the big thing with the Rams, it's still kind of hard for me to say the Los Angeles Rams, but it's pressure. Jared Goff does not perform well with people in his face. Now, Whitworth was carted off the field with a knee injury, done for the year. Tampa has the horses on defense to put pressure on Jared Goff, plus they're traveling across the country. I think that, along with Tampa's offense that clearly showed out very well against the Carolina Panthers, is enough to put them over the top.
It's for me, of course, you guys know where I'm going. I've picked Tampa Bay every single week so far this year, same as the Cardinals. My part of the analysis, though, is that Tom Brady knows that now is the time to put his foot on the throat of the NFC South. Breeze is hurt. These are now the must-win games to get that home game that you need in the playoffs. And it starts, as Wes said perfectly, a 20-17 home win here against the Rams. It's a field goal game. It's got to be on Monday night. We complete the sweep. 47.5 there, guys. I'm clearly taking the under. What do you guys think about this game for over-under?
I would also take the under.
Yeah, I think I'm taking the under as well. Like I said, I don't think the I think the Rams want to run the ball, and now their offensive line's a little banged up, and I just don't think that they're going to put up enough points to overcome that over-under right there.
Yep, game of defensive pressure, just like we saw last night with Minnesota and Chicago. It's a game of defensive pressure, and I think there's going to be a lot of it this game. Not a lot of points, but it's going to be close. Looking forward to this game on Monday Night Football. Our last segment of the week, guys, we have our Survivor picks, and would you looky there? We got a solo winner with the Packers beating the Jags last week. Unfortunately, Jeff's picked the Ravens. His first pick so far came up an L.
I mean, it was Baltimore against New England. Come on, that shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been close. But I'll take the L right there. It's my first game, getting the kinks out.
It's you gotta ease into it a little bit. I mean, we gotta get you on a little bit of a streak here. And Wes, I no longer have to apologize to you.
Yeah, I lost on my own.
You did. You took the Titans. I gave you the opportunity to take the Packers. You could have sided with me, and it didn't work out. So my apologies are no longer coming. Don't have to look forward to those on Tuesday. Who wants to lead us off with Survivor, though?
Well, I think I've got the layup right here, so I'm going to go ahead and take it. I'm going to go ahead and take the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oops. And to save Dr. Wes, maybe some I know he's already taken the Steelers. I'm also going to take the Steelers. If you have them available still, as you can see that I do at this point in the year, take the Steelers against the Jags. If you're still in your Survivor pool, don't overthink. If you have let's see, who else do we have here? If we go through this, guys, if you still have something like the Steelers that are in there, who else is playing this week?
That's really the only obvious one. That's the only real big spread.
Yeah.
I would say the Chargers are also there.
Yeah.
If you have the Chargers versus the Jets, go against the Jags, go against the Jets, and just hope. If you're still there, you've gotten here at this point. Dr. West, you've already taken the Steelers. Who are you taking this week?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Vikings versus the Cowboys.
Hot fire Vikings versus the Cowboys that we talked about should be quarterbacked by Dwayne Haskins.
That's right.
And there you have it, guys. Any final thoughts on this week as we wrap up the Week 11 picks?
I just hope the Bengals show up better than they did last week against the Steelers. That was an embarrassment. And, I'm just hoping to see more progress from Burrow. He's clearly better than Dwayne Haskins. To get that
I hope the Bengals continue to do poorly so we get better draft capital.
Yes,
I just don't want Burrow to get hurt. That's all I care about.
No, I know. It was brutal watching him towards the end there. So, yeah, I can totally identify with that.
Touche. Looking forward to the Patriots rolling back into the playoffs. To Wes's delight, who has Houston under 7.5 wins. So I'm sure you're rooting for the Patriots this week as well. That will do it for this week, guys. Thank you for sticking with us through this episode. Hope you enjoyed all the picks. Hope you guys are doing well in your fantasy league so far this year as we come up on playoff time. Please consider hitting that subscribe button. Don't forget, leave your picks in the comments for Dr. Wes's Justin Herbert rookie card. And he's doubling down. We've got the Christian McCaffrey card as well. There you guys see him right there on Wes's screen. Hope to see you guys next week.
Bring it on.
Good night and good luck.